wasn't expecting any applause, but thank you. You know, I live my life by a few quotes, and one of those is success is achieved by those who seek opportunities, not guarantees. What a beautiful day the Lord has provided for us today. And so I'm looking forward to this opportunity of us getting together to learn more about what's going to happen in this corridor. So first, let me introduce myself. I'm Roger Parham, and my wife is here somewhere. She disappeared from me. Where's Claudette? Please come up. This is my wife and partner, Claudette, and we are RC Ventures. We're the new owners of this property and the future developers of this site. Thank you for being here today. I'd like to just take a few minutes to share with you exactly who we are, why we continue to invest in this corridor, and our future plans for the corridor. That's called a hero's welcome. So as the banner around the fence you see up front states, RC Ventures, growing and strengthening communities. Through our family of companies, we plan to partner with the city, other like-minded organizations and individuals to strengthen and grow this community. RC Ventures serves in our family of companies as the commercial acquisition and development arm. We also have Steelskin LLC, which is our residential housing arm. And then there's PFCF, the Parham Family Charitable Fund, which is our philanthropic leader of our mission. Charlotte is very deep and dear to us. Claudette and I both relocated here back in the mid-1990s. And like most African Americans who are transplanted here to Charlotte, we were introduced to the Beatties Ford Road corridor either through Johnson C. Smith University, the former McDonald's cafeteria, or one of the many houses of prayers along this corridor. We are proud members of Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. Some ask me, why Beatties Ford? Why do you continue to want to invest in Beatties Ford? I came across an article back in the early 90s when I moved here, and that article had a number of quotes in it by some of our local community leaders. One of them, my pastor, Clifford Jones, said, Beatties Ford Road is the river of life for the black community. The Charlotte historian Dan Moore said, in its richness of history, it is unparalleled to anything else in our community. And then, as I stated, the former John McDonald of McDonald's cafeteria, he stated, Beatties Ford Road belongs to the people. On this site here, around 1962, a group of African-American doctors and dentists and other professionals got together and they developed and built a structure here, an office building called the Dalebrook Professional Center. Well-known community leaders who lived in McCoy Heights, Carson and Peggy Beckwith, owned a company called Band Beauty College. Bands was the first African-American cosmetology school in the Carolina region. They became the anchor tenant at Dalebrook Professional Center. Over the years, there were pharmacists here, there were a nursing school, optometrists, dental, and other professional services. Dalebrook Professional Center ended up being a beacon of light for a long time for this Beatties Ford Road corridor. I need to take a moment and to acknowledge someone, and it's probably going to get me in a little trouble, but I need to introduce Mr. Anthony Lindsay. I know he's here somewhere. Anthony. Anthony is our commercial real estate broker, our friend, and our development partner. He's an alumnus of Johnson C. Smith University, and he has a tremendous knowledge of this corridor and the importance that it plays to our history, our present, and our future. With his help, through our real estate acquisitions, like this property, a year ago we acquired the Bank of America building down the road. RC Ventures strive to grow and strengthen this community through three key principles: small business development, job creation, and creating space for those who can provide essential services along this corridor. This corridor, once again, is proud to have people who are championing the cause for the River of Life, for one of the most historical communities in our city. Our company, we normally like to work behind the scenes, but a couple of weeks ago I received a phone call from City Councilman Malcolm Graham, who, I paraphrase, basically said to me, it's time that we let the public see what you and I see about the future that can happen and should happen along this corridor. And for those of you who know Malcolm, he's a relentless leader for this corridor. Matter of fact, I would submit to you that if you look up the word relentless and leader and you Google those, a picture of him probably would show up. And I'm sure from time to time, the mayor can contest to this, the chief of police will, city council will, county commission will, code enforcement will. They'll all let you know that he'll make their ear bleed if they don't understand the importance and the passion that he has about leading this corridor back to Providence. So without further ado, thank you so much again for being here, City Councilman Malcolm Graham.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Roger and Claudette, for your investment in this corridor and believing in the vision that not only do I have, but the neighborhood leaders, the advocates, those who have come before me believe the promise that Beatties Ford Road has. So I want to thank you for allowing us to be here today. Thank you for your investment in this corridor, and thank each and every one of you for coming here today. I'm excited to be here with so many people that have worked hard and care for our city and our community to talk about what we've been referring to as the corridor of opportunities. There are a number of elected officials here, and so I wanted to recognize all the elected officials, but also want to acknowledge my counterpart on the county, Commissioner Velma Leak. She also served the Beatties Ford Road corridor, and I just want to thank her for her support and thank her for her vision and thank her for her leadership as well. And I want to thank all my council colleagues, county commissioner. I think the chairman is here as well. George Dunlap, thank you. And I think Dina may be here, no? As well, or may be on the way here. But so I just want to thank everyone for coming here today, acknowledging all our neighborhood leaders and our advocates and our elected officials. Earlier this morning, we had a great community education event where we were able to speak with community members about what it means to be on our corridor. Beatties Ford Road is a safe place where people can build their lives, a place where businesses can thrive, a place where history and progress can coexist if it's done thoughtfully. Beatties Ford Road can be that corridor, as well as the other corridors and the corridors of opportunity, in which the city manager will talk more about later. However, in order for that to happen, we need to start by taking the steps to make sure that our corridor is safe, taking the steps to make sure that our corridor is clean, because safe corridors and clean corridors equal a revitalized corridor. We also need to remember that progress is rarely ever a straight line. 2 months ago, a mass shooting on Beatties Ford Road killed 4 people and hurt several others. A shooting with 181 rounds. 400 people were there, and yet we have no witnesses. So I'm making an appeal to those who know about what happened to please call Crime Stoppers. Our police chief will be here shortly as well to talk more about that. In order for us to move forward on that push-pull path to progress, we need to acknowledge our warts on the corridor, but we also need to acknowledge the opportunities that lie ahead. One of the biggest things we need to balance when it comes to the opportunities on Beatties Ford Road is the incredible opportunity for community development and the effect gentrification has on the community. When I ran for city council last year, one of the most important parts of my platform was to making sure that citizens are a part of the change and not victims of the change. We have some incredible leaders in this community who are here today Diane Ward and Chris Dennis and the CRE Investment Group, Mike Griffin and others, and they'll be hearing more from them. They have invested in this corridor as well. We have work to do, and today I hope it will be the beginning of sharing with you the vision that we all see, the members of the Charlotte City Council, my colleagues, the mayor, our community leaders, and these are projects that are happening right now on the ground, shovel ready, ready to go. But before, I would be remiss if I don't acknowledge someone and bring her up who I have an enormous amount of respect for, who has given me an opportunity to really lead the Housing and Neighborhood Committee and talk about corridors in a very specific way, and that's our mayor, the Honorable Vi Lalls.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to start and say, you know, as John Lewis said, I'm going to get in some good trouble. But this is good trouble worth getting into. I want to acknowledge Chatty Hattie for being in our audience today. I remember her, listening to her on radio, and she is here today. I want to acknowledge Maddie Marshall. Maddie taught me so much about what you can do in a child's life. I want to acknowledge Blanche Penn. Where are you, Blanche? Blanche. You know, Blanche sometimes doesn't give me good trouble. She just gives me trouble straight out of H-E-L-L. But that's okay, because that's what's meant to be. And I want to acknowledge especially Commissioner Bill Malik, who is always at every meeting, every forum, and cares deeply about the most powerful district in this city. Well, that's right. I got to learn the fist bump going, but I also want to ask the city council members to stand and be acknowledged. I see Julie's already standing, but there are others, Ed and Larkin. The one thing I've learned about being mayor is not one person does one thing, and the county commissioners are our partners. Chairman Dunlap, I don't know if there are others, but I just want to say that that's the only way who else? Somebody? Trevor Fuller. You were over there. Now you're over here. Okay. So Trevor Fuller is here. But when we talk about collaboration and leadership, it's all of the neighborhood leaders. It's the advocates in this community, the activists in this community that push us to do the right thing, and they make a difference. So I know some of you are standing, some of you are sitting. Some of you have had decades here, and some of you may have just gotten here a little while. But every one of you adds value to this community and adds value to this corridor. But I also want to recognize someone else. Charles Billings. Where are you, Mr. Billings? Mr. Billings' son was one of the people lost at the Juneteenth shooting. And we have not forgotten what that means. We have not forgotten your son. And this project and the commitment to develop this site from Roger and Claudette is a part of the change that we want to see happen. When I started working for the city, I think it was sometimes just a job. It was a job I truly enjoyed. But I will tell you, serving as mayor of this city is a responsibility that I commit to each and every one of you, that we recognize our history, we acknowledge the present, and we dream for the future. So thank you today. For all of us, we will work together. We know what today is, but we all will dream for a future on this corridor. For every one of you to play a part in it, to make it happen, I say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Lalls. And now I'd like to bring out to the podium the Chief of Police, Johnny Jennings.
Thank you, Councilman Graham. First of all, I want to say I am excited to be here. This is truly an honor for me. I've had the privilege over the last few months to be able to visit some of the community members within the Beatties Ford Road corridor. What I can tell you is just the conversations that we've had, and some of you may be here today, just the caringness and the support and how much they want to improve and how much they care about making sure that their community is safe and peaceful and that they have a right not to be victimized in their own community. So I want to thank them for providing me input and talking with me and helping me to guide me to better serve the community as well. You know, there are times when we seem like the victims get overlooked in all these cases, and we know about what's happened this year. We talked. You heard Councilman Graham talk about the Juneteenth incident with the individuals, the 4 people who were murdered, 10 others who were hurt. And it saddens me to see that the effort that we want to put forth and what we want to see more people come forward with to help us with the investigation. However, we do know that we have to work hard. We have to be better as a police department to make sure we bring justice for the families of those victims. And we know that it takes more than just the police when we start dealing with issues, particularly amongst corridors like Beatties Ford Road. So I couldn't be more proud and more honored to be a part of our city and county leadership that recognizes that and that says that we have to be able to do our part and do more. Look inside of ourselves and see what we're doing to help the corridor and to help crime within our city. So very honored to be a part of that. Looking forward and excited to see what the results are and seeing this area improve and seeing some of the great people that live here being able to say finally that, you know, we have a safe environment, we have a growing community, we see a future and a bright future it is for not just for us ourselves, but for our young ones that we see along the corridor as well. So we know that this is going to take time and effort. Community collaboration is one of my core 4 that I've been expressing within my department and outside. And you heard the mayor talk about collaboration as well. So we're in it. We're in it with you. We want to know how we can get better and how we can better serve this corridor. Every response from the police will be tailored in your community. So we look forward to joining your efforts with that. I see some of my fine men and women in blue back there, and they're here for a reason as well. So it's not going to happen overnight, but I think the effort is there, and I think what we have to look forward to is very encouraging and very exciting. So thank you so much for having me, and look forward to the future.
Thanks, Chief Jennings. Again, in order for this corridor to be prosperous, it has to be safe. And I think there's a commitment on the part of the Chief of Police and the officers who walk up and down this corridor to do just that. And there's certainly a commitment from me as your district council representative to do the same. The other ledger is it has to be safe and clean. And this morning around 8:30, over 38 code officers with the City of Charlotte, as well as myself and Commissioner Lee, walked and knocked on doors in this community to talk about issues relating to code enforcement and talking to our neighbors. I'd like to bring up Pamela Weidman, our Director of Housing and Neighborhood Development, to talk about the efforts this morning and the ongoing efforts that we as the city will be taking in reference to code enforcement. Ms. Weidman.
Good afternoon. I am Pamela Weidman, and I have the privilege of serving as the city's Housing and Neighborhood Services Department Director. Housing and Neighborhood Services encompasses several lines of business, as we like to call them, and code enforcement is one of those lines of business. Code enforcement is responsible for ensuring the health and the safety of our neighborhoods related to both the physical condition of our residential and our non-residential properties. We do this in conjunction with our colleagues with CMPD, who are also responsible for fighting crime. To that end, the Central Code Enforcement Team has been out this morning They work daily, they work diligently on a daily basis to ensure the health and safety of this corridor. Let me just take a moment. None of what you see here today would be possible without the great work of those men and women. So they're led by Jane Talon. If you're out there, just raise your hand so people can see who you are. That team spent this morning going door to door. Actually, our approach is we want to work with the neighborhood. We went door to door, identifying some things that are code enforcement. We want to point those out to you. We want to work with you to bring those into compliance. This is just not something that we're going to be doing today. You'll continue to see us out here, and we want to come back and we want to check on things, and again, we want to work with you. I can't go any further by saying if ever we get laxed, we're always reminded by the great neighborhood leaders such as Miss Maddie Marshall. I'm going to get in trouble if I start naming names, Jatanya Adams, but all of the neighborhood representatives, thank you for keeping us accountable. If you see anything that's questionable, let one of the team members know. Call 311. We want to work with you to ensure the health and safety of this neighborhood. I also can't go any further. If you all don't remind me, Commissioner Vel Malik will remind me. She drives this corridor diligently on a daily basis, and there's not a time that we don't talk about Beatties Ford Road that she is not concerned about Beatties Ford Road. So I want to thank you again for being here. We're going to continue our work. Again, we need you all to help us keep this corridor in the condition that we know it should be. So if you see things that just don't look right, call 311. We're here to help you. Thank you, Mr. Graham, and thank you all for allowing me to be here this afternoon.
Thank you, Ms. Weidman. So again, two-pronged approach. Public safety, code enforcement, working together with the neighborhood leaders and the business owners up and down the corridor from the I-77 bridge all the way to Friendship Missionary Baptist Church. So we're going to take it in chewable bites, but it's just not one section of the corridor. We're going to address the issues up and down the corridor. In addition, it's just not this corridor that we're focusing on. There are 7 other identified corridors that the City of Charlotte will be working with our district representatives and our at-large members to ensure that they get the same type of intentional leadership and intentional work from the City of Charlotte. So we're going to show a video that talks about the Corridor of Opportunity program, and then after the video airs, we're going to bring up the City Manager, Marcus Jones, to talk more specifically about the Corridor of Opportunity program. Run the video for me, please.
So good afternoon. I'm Marcus Jones, and I'm the city manager of this great community. I will tell you this, that it's easy for us to come out today with pictures, and with videos and with plans and promises. And then those of you who have been in this community for more than a day or two will say, what's different? We've seen pictures, we've seen plans, we've heard speeches, we've heard messages. But the reality is this year at the City Council's annual strategy meeting, they challenged me. Okay, they challenged me in a team of 8,000 individuals to do something different. And our commitment to you is we are doing something different this time. So when you read a job announcement that may be in District 7 or District 6, you say, wait, what about other areas of the city? So we changed every way that we do business. And we said every tool that's available on any stretch of earth in Charlotte and Mecklenburg should be available in our corridors of opportunity. And what's great about what's happening now is that because you've worked so hard for so long, you're ahead of the game. You are shovel ready. You have projects that just need a little bit to get over the goal line. And we have an incredible team that's focused on that. So those of you who have met Tracy Dodson or Taiwo or Liz Babson or Pam, individually you've said, I believe, that those are good people, maybe even great people. But what they're doing is they are meeting weekly with one objective, and that is to change the dynamics in the corridors of opportunity. So that when someone comes to Charlotte and Mecklenburg and they want to start a business or they want to start a family, they start thinking about Beatties Ford Road, or they start thinking about West Boulevard. Some of the places that in the past may not have gotten all of the TLC that it should have received. So everything that the mayor has said and Councilman Graham has said and Commissioner Leek, we had a great tour yesterday, and she was in my ear saying, Marcus, I saw a bunch of trucks today, which was yesterday, and I haven't seen them in 30 years. And I said, you're going to see a lot more because there's commitment, and we're going to be consistent, and we're going to be in for the long haul. So I thank you as a community for hanging in there with us. But that's what's different this time. You're going to see results. You're going to see announcements. You're going to see groundbreaking, ribbon cutting. And we have the team that can do it. And we have the leadership, the elective leadership, that gives us the support to do it. So with that said, thank you for allowing us to be here today. And our goal is each time that you see us, you're able to, instead of asking the question, what's different, you are able to say, I see the difference. So thank you for allowing us to be here today.
The young lady that's responsible for putting the gas in the car, responsible for making the council's vision a reality in terms of economic development project is Tracy Dodson. So Tracy, please come forward.
Thank you, Councilmember Graham. I'm going to tell you just a very quick story to go on what the manager said, but also what Councilmember Graham has said. He came in with a very deliberate mission, and it was our corridors, and he has held our feet to the fire. So thank you for pushing us and bringing us to this point. And the manager's right. We said we have to do this differently. When we all sat around and talked about this at the staff level, we said, why aren't they seeing change? Is it our approach? Is it how we, as a staff and a team, are coming together? We got to do this differently. And so while we have brought the 4 departments together that the manager mentioned between housing, economic development, transportation, and planning, it goes so much deeper than that. It is our IT department and talking about public Wi-Fi. It's CMPD and the great work that they do. My team looks at job creation as well as talent development. We are looking at these corridors for so many different lenses because it's not one project. It's 100 projects that will come together. Now, we are thinking about this a little bit differently. You see behind me some of the branding. We want everybody to know the level of projects that we are doing in these corridors. And so we want to push the branding out there so that people know it's not one project, it's multiple projects, it's public-private partnerships, it's infrastructure and sidewalks. It's so many different things that are going on now. And as the Councilmember Graham said, are going to be going on not years from now, but very soon from now. We have this different approach is being a little bit more strategic and intentional, but also dedicated. And what we want to do is every corridor is different. We want to have a different strategy for every corridor because our communities are different. We can't take the same approach in every community to improve the communities and bring the impact that you want to see. And I want to mention too, before I go into how this is a little bit different, is this is not new work. This is an implementation strategy for the vision that you all have already put forward to us. One of the things that I did when I came to this is we laid out all the work that was on Beatties Ford. This is why this is the first corridor that we are looking at, is because so much work and so much visioning has been done here to date. All we're doing is finding a way to implement it so that you see the results that you want to see. How the strategy is different. So we are being geographically intentional. What we're starting with is the manager and the council in this year's budget allocated $24.5 million to our corridors. And with the team members, we are in the department heads, we're looking at how do we see the biggest impact. And one of the ways we believe in doing that is if we focus on particular intersections. Of course, first and foremost, we're going to have corridor-wide initiatives. We would never take that away. But if we start to look at Beatties Ford and LaSalle, and we start to think about public-private partnerships and redeveloping parcels or improving parcels, if we start to think about public Wi-Fi, if we start to think about sidewalks and placemaking and housing, close your eyes and do a 360. You'll see a lot of change really fast. And so for the Beatties Ford corridor, we want to focus on the 5 Points area, which already has a lot of momentum. We want to focus on Oaklawn, and we want to focus on LaSalle. And then as things grow, we'll move. But the goal is that in a short amount of time, you really start to see this change and this impact that you have been looking for. And we hope that that organically grows throughout the corridor. And it brings jobs, and it brings the real impact, again, that you want to see. So, again, I'm going to turn it back over to Councilmember Graham and let him talk a little bit more specifically about the projects. But, again, also thank you and to the mayor and the council for really pushing us, and the manager as well, to get to a strategy that we think will be impactful this year and future years to come.
Thank you, Tracy. Being a district representative is like being a member of a relay team. It is just not me. It's Al Alston, it's Justin Hollow, it's those who came before me. It's the neighborhood leaders who've always been on the ground fighting, demanding change. It's the at-large council members, it's the staff all working together collectively to make things happen. What I'm about to do is, if you would just work with me, just kind of close your eyes and just imagine the I-77 bridge, and then we're going to take a walk up and down the corridor. These are projects that will be completed by the end of the year or will be breaking ground by the end of the year. So these are projects that are more than shovel ready, but these are projects that are really getting ready to take off. The first one would be the I-70, the 5 Point corridor. And I'm glad that the best historically black college and university president in the country is here with us today. Dr. Al Mercer, Johnson C. Smith University, the major anchor on the corridor. The city has invested millions of dollars in terms of Walls Authority streetscape and State Street revitalization. The 5 Point Plaza Park will have a water feature, an amphitheater. All those features that you see in the picture right there will be completed by the end of the year. The I-77 bridge, which is the gateway to uptown Charlotte, wide sidewalks, pedestrian friendly, and inviting to uptown as well as to the corridor, will be done by the end of the year. That's significant. The streetcar project that has been the vein of my life as well as my colleagues' life for years. I mean, the streets on Beatties Ford Road will be opening in October. So we'll be able to go down Beatties Ford Road uninterrupted. Trains will be on the track doing practice runs by the end of the year. I mean, those are projects that are done and we will be celebrating. My good friend Mike Griffin is here. Mike is the developer of Mosaic Village. Mike is now working on Mosaic Village 2. with Shook Kelly and Neighboring Concepts. He is dedicated to this corridor. I work with him on Mosaic Village 1. Mike is anticipating breaking ground by the end of the year. I mean, so that's the lower end of the corridor where we have a lot to celebrate and be positive about, because that's the gateway to our community in the Beatties Ford Road corridor. All those projects, again, will be done, completed, and we can celebrate victories on this corridor, knowing that our first two principles is what? A safe community and a safe and a clean community. And so all of this kind of brings this into formation. The other one is the Diane Ward's project. Is Diane here? Come on, Diane, we want to see you. Diane is a young lady who's been doing, I call her the bicycle lady, right? But we had a meeting on this Sunday, was it Monday, Labor Day, and I think we spent an hour together, and we talked about her project, which is the gray building behind the Mechanics and Farmers Bank. It's her project. Diane has already started construction. She's been working with the city. She's already has 3 tenants, a pharmacy, a pizza, 5 tenants. 4. She got a lot of tenants. And the building, there's 4 tenants. She's doing good work, right? And the work is being done now. The tenants have already signed. It's another landmark opportunity for the corridor, and I'm so excited for her, and I look forward to working with her. I know the students at Johnson C. Smith will be going over there. So you have Diane's building, you have the 5 Point Plaza Park with the amphitheater, you have the Streetscape project, you have the Russell Ferry project. There's something brewing on the corner with the two-way site that we're not going to talk about yet. But a lot is happening towards the lower end of the corridor. Michael Griffin, all those guys are working really, really hard, and I'm so proud of them. Now, if you would walk up the street with me to the corner of Beatties Ford Road and Oakline, you know we've already started the investment with the Excelsiors Club. Darrell Williams is here representing them. The city is doing its own project with the Vest Water Plant. I would like to see a branding opportunity on the tower itself, working with our neighborhood leaders and our residents up and down the corridor to really brand that tower as Beatties Ford Road. We'll work on what it looks like, how does it feel, community should be a part of it, but that's a great branding opportunity. But let me show you this video, and then we'll talk about this. Isn't that exciting? It's being brought to you by CGE Venture Group. William Hughes is here today representing them. Is William here? Stand up, William. Notwithstanding the fact that he's wearing an A&T shirt, all right? We're not going to go there. But this is what I think we all want. A young man and his investment group from the community that lives in the community that's investing on the corridor. We've been working with him for a number of months now. Councilmember Mitchell is here, I think, and I have been working with him. This is a shovel-ready project ready to go. And so, as the manager said earlier, we're going to find a way through private funds, public funds, to make this project happen, because it will definitely square that corner for us with the historic Excelsiors Club renovation, Williams project. Williams wants to break ground by the end of the year on that project, which will totally reshape that intersection of Beatties Ford Road and Oaklawn. I'm so excited about that project. Thank you, Wayne, for being here. If you would travel up the corridor to the corner of Beatties Ford Road and LaSalle Street, the police chief has always given our commitment, his commitment, to ensure that the whole corridor is safe. We know we got to do some more work on the corner of Beatties Ford Road and LaSalle in reference to violence interruption. And we had a great meeting last night till about 1 o'clock in the morning talking about just that. How can we work in conjunction with CMPD, Mecklenburg County in terms of wraparound service and other things that we can do to really to square that corner. But we have another young man who has taken an opportunity to move forward in terms of investment opportunity on that corner. I think the renderings are available right there already. It's on the corner of Beatties Ford Road and LaSalle Street. Chris Dennis, is Chris here? Chris is going to have a major announcement probably within 60 days. We're not going to steal his thunder because his announcement deserves its own day. But I think the community will be ecstatic about what he is proposing, what he is doing. He is halfway there, Mr. Manager. Yeah, right. So we're going to get him across the goal line, but it will totally reshape that corner. Strong public safety measures, intervention measures, investment on the corridor. The city has its own project that we have already sent out a RFP for affordable housing behind Site 2. That proposal is already out of the door. We're working with Mrs. Weidman organization to kind of see how we can work together with Chris. So within 60 days, I think we'll be back probably further down the corridor talking about a great announcement, and I'm looking forward to doing that. We also have public Wi-Fi up and down the corridor now. We're working with CMS and others to ensure that this corridor has the technology that is necessary for it to grow and prosper. I mean, so when you look at those things I just mentioned are not things that we want to do or things that we're planning to do. These are things that are happening right now. And so the goal of the corridors of opportunity is to take advantage of the opportunity. Beatties Ford Road in particular has a long, rich history and tradition. And I stand by the individuals that I introduced to you this afternoon as being not pioneers, but understanding the opportunity that lies for them and their community. And that's why I stand here along with my colleagues and the mayor and the city manager in saying that we believe in this corridor. We believe in the corridors of opportunity program for all the other 7. That this is just the beginning, that we hope that this type of momentum will spread throughout the city, that we've even talked, at least I talked about, how do we put more money in the budget next year, Mr. Manager. I'm already in 2021, right? So that we can make sure that the same type of energy, the same type of investment, the same type of, and these deals that we're trying to do is out of the box. They're different. They're unique. I'm pitching the city manager. He's lost all his hair, right? And so we're pitching the city to think and do things out of the box that they hadn't done before. And so there's a commitment there. There's a commitment to work with major stakeholders up and down the corridor. We're going to work with Johnson C. Smith University because it's the best HBCU in the country, right? We're going to work with all those, Friendship and the House of Prayer and all those institutions that can bring additional resources to what it is that we're trying to do. And so it's not just on the backs of the neighborhood leaders or the neighborhood advocates, or the district representative, or the city as a whole, we all have a shared responsibility to make this thing happen. So I am really, really excited about where we're going. As I said earlier, progress is never a straight line. There will be some humps and curves along the way, but the commitment is to get to the finish line. And I am certain with the support of the individuals here today, with our neighborhood leaders, with our community investors, that we can get to the finish line. And with that, I will pause, and I think we will take some questions from the media if there's any for anyone that's here or any one of the individuals. Yes, sir. From the media. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How much is going to this particular? We are making investment decisions right now, and so it's a $5 million pot for $24.5 million in total. $5 million for economic development. The council now is working with a number of investors to make those investments, but I would think that it would be we're filling gaps, right? And so the amount is based on the gap that needs to be filled and how we can do it in a manner that makes sense. Yes, ma'am. One I can talk about specifically is the RFP that the city sent out in terms for doing some affordable housing behind on Cluster Avenue. I think that's where it's at, Ms. Wyman. So we sent out that RFP. I'm going to allow the developer to make his own announcement, but it's consistent with the neighborhood meetings that we've had in terms of our urban main plan and other community plans that we've done along the way. And so I think in terms of I'll allow the developer at the appropriate time to make his own announcement, but certainly I'm excited about it, and I think I think the community will be too as well. Yes, ma'am.
Two questions. One, the 11 projects you have, we talked about, those are all you said either in the done or approved drawn on by the end of this year? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. So is the goal here for other people to be able to enjoy this area as well, for people to come in as a destination spot, or is it to build up for the people who are already here?
The goal is to make an economic investment in this corridor that has been waiting for this type of investment for years. As I said, what we want to do is make sure that the residents are part of the change and not victims of it. But certainly everyone wants to live in a community that's safe. Everyone wants to live in a community that's clean. Everyone wants to be able to leave their home and go to a sit-down restaurant. Everyone wants to be able to leave their home and go to a pharmacy, or go to a doctor's office, or go to an office shared space location. And so the goal is to make sure that, one, we give the community the amenities that they deserve and earn, but more importantly, capitalize on the rich history and tradition of Beatties Ford Road, so it will be a destination location. So when people come to Charlotte and want to see the heart and the soul of the African American community, they come to Beatties Ford Road.
Okay, since you mentioned the whole, you don't want to make people who live here a victim. We can speak to people, and we've also heard from people who are concerned and say, what does this mean for me? Is it going to get too expensive for me to live here? What would you say to them to say, this is not going to push you out and gentrify the area? But build it out.
Well, one of the things we want to do, one is work with other partners like I talked about, Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, the House of Prayer, other institutions along the corridor that can help the city in terms of home buying, training exercise, getting our residents credit ready, providing more educational opportunities, more housing opportunities, providing more supportive services. So it's like the Bay Tent City, where we are providing the resources and making them available to the residents so they can make sure that when the change comes, and it is coming, Charlotte can't annex any more all the developments that we're doing are infill developments now, right? And so we need to make sure that the community is a part of the change and not victims of it. We clearly understand the issue of gentrification. I acknowledged it up right early that we want to, but we can't put a fence around Beatties Ford Road. We want to be a welcoming community, a diverse community, and so we got to all work together. Media members. Okay, thank you.
Everybody, before you all leave, we do have some free masks under the tent for you all that you can take, so please feel free to take some masks on your way out.